Google Docs.
Okay, so welcome to Feature Flags Office Hours. Today is the 8th of April, 2021. And we have a pretty light agenda. There's really only one topic that I wanted to discuss about, and that's something that came up regarding feature flag maturity. So I'm going to share my screen. And there's a discussion here around feature flag dogfooding and product feature flags. And we've talked about this several times in our feature flag office hours, but just to recap, we're not intensively dogfooding Unleash feature flags, even though that's what we're offering as the product. We are using it, we are using Flipper mainly for development of GitLab. And our current maturity level, I think, is viable, but let me check. I'm almost certain, but I just wanted to double check. Yeah, so we're currently at viable. And when we gave this definition of viable, the definition was that real users can use the functionality to solve real problems, right? So it's the third of the categories. It's not planned because we have some features implemented. It wasn't minimal at the time because it may not be ready for production. And viable at the time, the definition was it solves real problems. But the definition has changed for maturity level. And the new definition is significant use at GitLab, the company. So meaning we're really dogfooding it. Now, there are some teams in GitLab that are dogfooding it, but I would say 90+% of the actual users are not dogfooding it. So I don't think that we can actually, check mark this requirement as the maturity level. And the CM scorecard was not done for feature flags. So there's a discussion here whether or not we should reduce the maturity level and go back to minimal. And the main reason is not just because we didn't follow the process, because the definition was changed after the fact. The reason is the reason why we're not dogfooding. And the reason why we're not dogfooding is because there's some performance concerns on Unleash. And that's why we haven't started using it, very deeply within the development of GitLab. And so if we have performance concerns, so will the users, and maybe it's not scalable. So just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts, or anyone watching this video, about what you think about bringing this back to minimal.
Yeah, I mean, what you just said sounded right. Yes, we can't use it at the moment for replacement of existing feature flags on the .com. I guess my first immediate question is, are we still planning to do that? What's the timeline for that?
So to be perfectly honest, due to all the different changes in the team, we're really not working on feature flags that intensively as we were last year. And so right now, the features that are on the top priority list are the contextual issues and not, the performance or scalability ones. On the other hand, we're not handling any of the performance issues because they're not coming up because not enough people are using it. So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg situation here, because we're not going to end this loop. What I had talked about with Nicole in our weekly meeting was maybe we, as the release team, start using Unleash as our development feature flag instead of Flipper, and maybe we can uncover some of the problems.
I mean, if we speak about using it for .com, it really doesn't. I mean, it looks like it will be hard to do, actually, because we have a at the moment, we have a very strict process around feature flags with Flipper. You need to, every time you create it, you need to create a few issues for rolling out this feature flags, removing it. Then you need to commit something in the code base with the definition of the feature flag and who responsible for working with it, like which team is responsible for it. And it kind of, if we starting to use Unleash, we kind of violate all this process. And also we still have this, I mean, it doesn't really matter from the performance standpoint how many feature flags we have. If we have a single feature flag used for .com, it means that every instance of the Ruby process, for example, in our production will require this feature flag configuration. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if we have like 1,000 feature flags versus a few hundreds maybe, but it doesn't matter like one versus a few hundreds. So the performance concern, even on the very small case, is still there. And I think we need to address it earlier. Yeah. I don't know.
The question is if we can talk to the delivery team about a specific, I don't know, up to 5 feature flags that we want to experiment with Unleash without going through the whole process. I think we could probably persuade them to do that. You know, and making sure that it's a feature that is not high volume or something similar, so that we can just test it out and see really if there are performance concerns. Because right now there's performance concerns. We're not sure they're really concerns. We're not sure when we need to handle them. We'll need to handle them when they show up, but we're not sure when. I think it's better that we surface it than our customers.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Sorry, I would start like not on the product area, but maybe on the try to use this feature flags on some kind of side project like runner pages or something like that. When there is like a smaller fleet of applications running, because they will create less load for .com or for ops instance if we speak about
that. Makes sense. Also, the teams that are currently dogfooding, which are delivery and fulfillment.
For what they are using it?
Fulfillment is using it for different hiding features on it's like a customer site. It's not exactly GitLab.com.
But is it what we see on GitLab.com, like when you're not authorized?
No, it's like this site where you can sign up. It's a little bit separate. It's called the customer
portal
site or portal or something. So it's not .com for sure. Maybe that's why they're using it. But I actually do want to find some place in .com that we can use it without making too much problems.
Yeah, I see your point. I don't know what if we speak about like experimentation with feature flags in our production, maybe like, I guess if we one day want to migrate from Flipper to the Unleash feature flags, for some time we will probably have both. And I think it makes sense just mirroring them, maybe just mirroring from the Flipper to the Unleash instance. And I guess we already have API for feature flags. So maybe just creating some script which will mirror what we have on the, I mean, in the Flipper configuration to the like special project on the ops GitLab.com. And then when we have this configuration, maybe we can enable not like testing, like we can enable loading this feature flag content on the workers on .com, but not testing it actively. So, and this way we can roll this out using the old feature flags and enable it for like 5% of the projects initially, for like 5% of the requests, then maybe 10% of the requests. And this way we can actually even like forget about mirroring, just create a special project and just test what will happen with ops instance if we just try to access it from 100% of our web workers, sidekick workers, and stuff like that. Maybe that's a good test. And if it works, then it kind of proves that this performance concern is less, I don't know, less terrifying than it sounds. Because right now, for me, it sounds like if we enable it, everything will just crash immediately.
Yeah, I agree. So help me formulate this. Let's open an issue and we'll schedule it for one of the upcoming milestones to create this. So what we want to do is create a side project, right? That will.
Yeah, basically what I would do, I would create a project on the ops instance of GitLab. And then using the Flipper feature flags, I would test the single feature flag using on this ops instance. It will be like completely unrelated to any code, like completely unrelated to any feature on GitLab. Just like test feature flag number 1, I don't know. But do it for a percentage of the users. So let's say not users, but requests. So we can start with a single percent and see how much load this will create on the ops instance. Then we can increase it maybe to the point when it will be 100% and ops instances still be fine. And this way we will prove that current architecture is, it performs well. I would even say that it's safe for customers to use it at this point because
So not
GitLab
Flipper,
is huge.
So Unleash, not Flipper, right?
This is kind of a mix of these two. What I'm suggesting is to use Flipper feature flags to control how often we try to access Unleash feature flags. And this way we can test. Basically, what I'm trying to do is not roll out tests for the 100% of .com, just roll out it for the small portion of it, like 1%, 2%. Maybe you can just create this issue and just ping me on it, and I'll explain the idea.
I'll do that. Okay. Awesome. I like the idea of doing a side project. I'm just checking that everything doesn't explode at once. And maybe our concerns are okay. I'm sure that we have optimizations to do, like get rid of the polling mechanism of the requests and so on. But I just want to know if the flags are really safe to use.
That's actually questionable assumption, because basically any client who will try to use GitLab feature flags as for production makes GitLab makes it a requirement to run GitLab 100% of the time. So they can't just shut it down for a couple hours in the night, right? Yeah. Since feature flags all will become disabled for these 2 hours. So I don't know. For massive scale, myself wouldn't use it, even if we run it on .com for 100%, because then you need to make your own GitLab instance as reliable as .com is, which may be not true. But if you're a .com user, then maybe it's safe, because .com is probably way more reliable than some our customers' projects. I don't know.
Okay. So I'll open an issue for this so we can do some kind of experimentation and get better concrete data, because this idea of the performance issues has been floating around, but we need to handle the performance issues. So
Yeah, what I suggested actually, it either can prove that performance is okay, or it can highlight what exactly is wrong with performance. Because right now we have a lot of guesses which can go wrong, or like what can go wrong, but we don't know which one of them will be like triggers the first and will create the biggest problem. So just testing it on our production actually will allow us to maybe see what exactly our biggest problem at the moment with the performance.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Cool. So I have a to do to open an issue for this. Is there any other topic that you wanted to talk about?
No, I just joined this meeting. I don't know.
Okay. Great. So I'll give you some time back, and I'll
Okay.
post this on unfiltered.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.